Dr. Marie Gorczyca, thanks so much for talking to me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Yeah, I always love talking with you. So for viewers, listeners, this is our second podcast. If you haven't listened to the first after this one, you should go back and watch it. But for those tuning in to you on our show for the first time, tell everyone just a little bit about yourself, where you practice, and what you love to do.
I'm a practicing orthodontist in Antioch, California. The name of my practice is Gorczyca Orthodontics. And this year, I celebrate 35 years as an orthodontist. So it's a milestone year for me.
Congrats.
And I absolutely love what I do, not only the clinical aspect of running an orthodontic practice, but I also love the practice management aspect. And I'm continuously trying to learn new things, improve my systems, and keep growing as a business owner. So that's where my books come in. I've written 5 dental practice management books. I was inspired by an experience I had getting my master's degree in public health, in health management and policy at the Harvard School of Public Health. And when I got out into private practice, I found that there were not really written resources that orthodontists could turn to. And for many years, I taught practice management at University of the Pacific Dental School with my friend, Dr. Maureen Valley, who also had her master's degree in public health from the Harvard School of Public Health and Health Management and Policy. And my books really came from that experience of giving those 6 lectures at UOP. And so in it was 2010, I started writing my first book. And I'm just about to finish my 6th book, and that will be the final book, which will be on management systems.
Maybe we could start very high level, just talking about the psychology of motivation, I think is what you had written to me. And I'm curious.
Terrific.
Yeah, I'm just curious what that means to you. So the psychology of motivation, what's that mean to you?
I recently listened to your podcast with Zach, where you were speaking about the laws of success.
Yes.
And that was an interesting podcast. And I had a few thoughts about that. And one of the thoughts that you brought up was, how do you motivate your team?
Yeah.
Or how do you even motivate yourself? Okay. And on that topic of motivation, it has been found that there are 3 things that motivate a person, whether it's the doctor or the team member. Number 1 is autonomy. When you think of highly motivated people, great artists, great writers, whatever, they have autonomy.
Yep.
They are doing it for themselves, right? They don't have someone over them telling them, do this, do that, do this. So how can we do that in the dental office with the dental team? I think autonomy is giving people their own projects and letting them report on their own work, letting them take pride in their own work. So one thing I like to do at a team meeting is, everyone has a certain assignment, whether it be to report on a certain area of the practice, or whether it be to read something to share with everyone, or whether it is to report on a certain report that person's responsible for example, accounts receivable. Having autonomy in that task and then reporting it to everyone gives that person pride in their work. And it works. So the number 1 for motivation is autonomy. Number 2 is mastery. Motivation, when you wake up every day and you want to master something, you want to become better and better and better at it, and you're making continuous and never-ending improvement, that's motivating. You have a goal and you're motivated. So that's another aspect we can work on in our orthodontic practices is whoever's billing your insurance. Are they a master of billing insurance?
That's
Are they
right.
an expert of billing insurance? My insurance biller every week at the weekly team meeting prints the report of insurance and distributes it to everyone. So we look at her little pie graph
Yep.
and I can see the sliver over 90 days. And hopefully that sliver is like $1,000 or less. And hopefully 60 days is, a little bigger sliver, but most of the insurance should be within 30 days. It's coming in within 30 days. Now, some insurance companies take 45 days. Okay. But I'm just giving an example of mastery. Giving that person that job, making them autonomous, letting them be a master, but then letting them have pride in their work and show their work. And then the last part of motivation is purpose. If you have a deep purpose, like I can honestly say to you, God put me on this earth to be an orthodontist. And it's funny, my husband's a cancer surgeon, and we were on our third date, and he said to me, God put me on this earth to take care of these people, to be a cancer surgeon.
Wow.
And when he said that, I was like, wow, that's wonderful. Someone with a purpose, because I feel the same way. It would be so wonderful if everyone on your team felt this is what I was meant to do in life, to be an orthodontic assistant or to run an orthodontic office. That is purpose. And when you're that committed, that is highly motivating. So those are the 3 things. And you can work on those 3 things with your team.
So I'd love to dive into these just a bit and ask you more questions, because what you're talking about really applies to any business. We're talking about orthodontic practices right now, but it's like global.
Any person.
So the first one is autonomy. And let's say you're bringing someone in brand new, and you hired for maybe personality and buy-in over skill set.
Yes.
How do you train this person to empower them to eventually have autonomy? But how do you train them, mentor them, coach them to get to that point? Because I think a lot of people, from what I hear, they're kind of fearful to let their team actually run free because they can't do it like I would do it. And then you get into like micromanaging. And I think that's where this toxic kind of hamster wheel begins.
I recently hired a brand new person straight out of high school. She was recommended by another team member. I was looking for a new team member, and I hired someone with no experience that we are putting through dental assisting college. Okay. The first job I gave her was concierge. Your job is to greet the patients as they walk in. Whoever sits closest to the door is the concierge. And I could say to you, I did hire her for personality. She is energetic. She's friendly. She's always smiling. And that's her first job. And she also, at my team meetings each week, is reading 3 paragraphs from our customer service book.
Great.
So that's how I'm getting her started. Now, She has already started reading the OSHA articles, and this weekend she's going to her first OSHA course on Saturday. I'm paying for the course. She's going. So that's how we get her started. And once she gets her OSHA certificate, then she'll move on probably to sterilizing the instruments. And then the next step is going to be she's going to get her x-ray license, and then we'll move her on to x-rays, taking radiographs in our office. And to fully train an RDA from scratch, it probably takes about 3 years. But I don't mind doing that because I find that when I train someone the way I want them to work, it's a win-win for both parties. It's a win for her because we're training her to be a professional. And it's a win for us because she is a great team player. She's doing things the way we want her to do them. And she's going to grow into the type of professional that we'd like in our office. So now, I did interview many people, and I did interview people that had 10 years experience. You know, the price range is astronomical in California. And are you really getting that much difference for your practice? Maybe not. So I always like to train my own. If I have a new person, I like to train my own person. And maybe you'll get someone out of a registered dental assisting program. The last person I hired came from a registered dental assisting program. She's been with us less than a year, the second to the last, I should say. But she's still learning. She's still learning, and it'll take her about a year before she's fully integrated with how we run our practice.
So you're setting up this new team member with some quick wins. You know that they're going to be able to do this, excel, and then you can kind of champion them and just keep creating an environment where they can continue to grow at a good pace.
And start with one thing at a time.
Right.
Start with one thing. So first month, be the concierge, okay? Greet the patient, welcome the patient by name, seat them in the chair, make sure we have all the instruments we need, patient's done, schedule their next appointment, give them a fond farewell. That is her job. She is the concierge.
Love that.
And she has excelled at it. Now, this week, she is going to visit my referring dental offices. She's going to 14 dental offices, but I'm going to have the other RDA go with her, the two of them together. So she won't be alone doing this for the first time, but that's going to be her next job. And then we continue on and we continue with the classes and the training.
And to fully have autonomy, you've got to be a master to some degree. And so let's talk about mastery. It's not like an instant thing. You aren't just like a master on day one. Like we're talking about, there has to be training, coaching, mentorship. How does one step into true mastery?
Well, they say for true mastery, whatever you're doing, whether it's doing podcasts or playing ping pong, you need to put in 10,000 hours.
That's right. Yep.
And I think
was that Malcolm Gladwell who it was the book?
I think it was.
Maybe the tipping point.
Yes. And that's true. I don't know how many hours would be in a year that someone would work. I had one dental assistant that was with me for 23 years. Obviously, she was a supreme master. She was just phenomenal. I mean, she could almost be an orthodontist. She could almost, after seeing 10,000 cases, she could almost treatment plan the case herself. She was so good. But I would say for a registered dental assistant, it takes about 3 years to really master everything that goes on, all the systems in the orthodontic office. I think after 1 year, you're proficient. but after 3 years, you're really a master. You're starting your mastery.
Mm-hmm.
And you get better and better as you go.
That's true. Yeah. I didn't really start to have a lot of growth inside our company until year 5. And so, not that's a team. So the team had to get to a point where that's where we started to rapidly grow. But I would even say myself, that 3 to 5 year window, and you look at athletes, they go through high school, and if they're going to go like Division 1, they're pretty good by their senior year. That's when the scouts come and know, okay, here's our selections. And then even through college, look at how many collegiate athletes don't make it to the pros. So there's levels of mastery as well, but putting in the time. And I love studying athletes like Kobe Bryant or Tom Brady and this kind of champion mindset, and just how they were able to create mastery within what they do.
Well, wasn't it Leonardo da Vinci who said, I'm still learning?
Always be a student.
80, and he was 80 years old.
That's right. That's right.
Constant and never-ending improvement. That is motivational. And I'm still learning every day. I'm learning something new. And it's a lot of fun when you have that growth mindset attitude.
Yep.
It just makes whatever endeavor you're working on really fun.
I agree. I think that's a big point that we can overlook maybe is the humility in what you just said, and always being the student. And there's always something you can learn, even if you are a master,
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And then the final piece is purpose. And I feel like this is actually where most people miss the mark. Even myself, a lot of owners do not communicate a simple, concise, powerful mission. It's like Simon Sinek says, start with why. And for whatever reason, a lot of people don't think about this. And then because it's not thought about, it's not developed. And then because it's not developed, it's not communicated. And I've been guilty of this too. So what are your thoughts around purpose and communicating that down to your team?
Our vision is smiles change lives. And if you sat in our reception area, you would see a picture of a patient, and underneath is our vision statement, smiles change lives. And the orthodontics is wonderful. We see every day how happy the patients are when they get their braces off and how beautiful they look. But it's more than that. You are really improving this person's life. You are giving them confidence. You are impacting their life. Think of the influence you have on children who come into your office. I mean, kids tell us all kinds of things. And I'm constantly talking with my patients, how was school today? And maybe they confide in me some problem that they're having, and maybe I can give them a little pep talk, or maybe I can encourage them in what you're doing. And just to have an adult listen to you for whatever time you're in the orthodontic chair, that makes a big impact on your life. So that's something that we discuss in our office. It's not just the orthodontic appointment. It's what can we do to make that person's life better? And do they come into our office and leave better than they came in that day? And that is our purpose, to make them happy, to give them confidence, to change their life through their experience in our office. And I find that to be a very exciting adventure. And I hope that everyone else in my office would feel that way also. Now, not everyone will feel that way. but I feel that way. And
Mm-hmm.
I try to lead by example, and I try to share what I've enjoyed in my career with the dental assistants. And I hope that they'll stay forever. I really do. But things happen. People move, they get married, they have kids. There are a lot of reasons why someone might leave the dental profession eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But while they're with us, I hope that they would share in that vision.
Mm-hmm. For sure. What do you do when there's incongruence with behavior and purpose?
Well, you need to talk about it immediately.
Mm.
And the first thing I would do is talk about it in private. Okay. So when we hire someone, the very first thing they do, the very first hour that they work, they sit in my exam room and they read the policy and procedure manual. And that manual is a custom manual that I wrote myself. It basically goes over everything, all the expectations of behavior, attendance, appearance, workflow, and then they sign it that they've read it, they acknowledge it, and then we're ready to get started. So, for example, I never had this happen before, but I had this happen recently where I hired a new dental assistant who I love. She's doing a great job, and I believe in her. But she came in one day and she had a little diamond on her tooth.
Mm.
Okay. I said, what is that? Okay. I don't know what kind of style that is, what she did on the weekend. Who knows? But I said to her, what is that? Oh, it's a little diamond I put on my teeth. That is not professional. I'm sorry.
Are
I'm
these
going to.
Are these put on by a dentist or just?
She put it on herself.
Okay, so they're like stick on. Okay.
Yeah, they're glued on,
Got
whatever.
it.
But they're not professional.
Right.
So I have to nip it in the bud. I had to say to her, what you do on your weekend, that's your own private business. But when you walk into this office, you need to look and act like a professional.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to ask you to remove those right now. 1 minute conversation. But it's a uncomfortable conversation.
It is. A lot of people would just skip it.
Orthodontists might be afraid to say something, but I'm afraid not to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Every time you're afraid to say something, how can I tell her? Instead of saying, how can I tell her? Say to yourself, how can I not tell her?
Yeah, reframe it.
How can I not tell her that doesn't look professional? I need to tell her immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is the press on nails, the fingernails that have diamonds on them. And I don't know if they have those in Florida. I live in California, but that's unprofessional. You cannot be a dental assistant and have long nails. So that's another immediate conversation. Please come into my office for a minute. What's up with the nails? Oh, I went out this weekend. I went to a wedding or something. Okay, that's great. But it's back to work now. I can't have you working on a patient like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the nails are going to have to come off.
Mm-hmm.
I had another thing recently. I'll just bring it up because it was really funny. And I was actually interviewing a young lady, and she came in with these false eyelashes that I am not kidding. They must have been an inch long. And she came this way to her interview. And right there at the interview, I said to her, well, should we have you join our team? I just want to let you know you're not going to be able to wear those eyelashes to work. And she said, why not? I said, because they're not professional. And I said, in addition, I don't even think you could get a shield on over those eyelashes. The eyelashes would be like touching
Mm-hmm.
the face shield. So if you work here, you're going to have to remove those. She said to me, I'm not going to remove them, so I'm not going to work here. I said, okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. Goodbye. But I'm not going to have someone who doesn't look professional in my
Right.
office.
Right.
And it goes beyond. It goes beyond to the verbiage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people have to use professional language and they have to dress well. You know, they have to hem their scrub slacks. There are certain things you have to do, not too much jewelry. You have to be able to speak about it. But if you have it all written down in your policy and procedure manual, then it's not a big deal.
That's right.
And at the next team meeting, there have been times I don't want to single anyone out. I'll just Xerox the page that says professional dress code. I'll give it to everyone. And whatever I want to say, I'll just say, please review this. Remember to do this, whatever that might be. You know, maybe it's just one pair of earrings, not earrings, you know, all up your ears, or, you know, no nose rings, no tongue rings, no lip rings, no eyebrow rings, no tattoos showing. You know, as a business owner, you have the right to request the professional appearance that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And even the Mayo Clinic in their customer service book states, if you work at the Mayo Clinic, you have to cover your tattoos. So you have the right as a business owner. Now, if that's not your style, if you're a business owner and that's not your style, and you want to have a hip style, that's up to you. But I want to have a professional style, which I feel reflects the excellence of my work and the excellence of my team.
That's really good. And so many people, I think this is why it's so hard being a business owner, is you have to lean into those uncomfortable conversations. And some people can take this the wrong way, and I think maybe not empathize with people and some things, right? It's a fine line, but what you're talking about is there's a standard that's documented and you hold everyone to that same standard. It's not different. It's not some people get, you know, their own preferences. It's here's the standard and we're all held to this, including myself. And then conversations around that to keep the standard have to happen. Because what I've seen, I've been guilty of this in my own business over the past, you know, going on 12 years of being a business owner, is you let one person slide. Well, what are you going to do with the second person?
Well, they infect everyone else.
Right.
As soon as you let one person slide, then everyone falls into that trap.
And then they'll leverage that because they can, and you created that environment. Well, so-and-so got to do X, Y, and Z. And what are you going to say to that if you allowed that versus holding everybody to the same standard? So everything's fair. And I think that's very tough for most business owners to, one, create the standard, and then two, to maintain it.
Well, I think a lot of times business owners are afraid to bring something up because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings. They don't want the person to quit on them. And so they avoid what needs to be addressed. I take the stance, instead of saying, how can I tell her? How can I not tell her? Because I want her to be the very best she can be. I want her to be a professional. I want her to learn and grow. I want her to be excellent. I want every family that comes into my office to look at her and say, wow, what a great dental assistant. What a role model. So I want the best for my dental assistants, and they know that. So I think if you take that stance, that we have an obligation to turn our team into the best professionals that they can be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you take that stance that I'm going to do everything I can to help you and I believe in you, then how can anyone be offended?
That's
I think
right.
they would. I think they will turn around and say, "Thank you, Dr. Gorska, for telling me that.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever told me that before."
Right.
Don't expect your team members to know everything about professional behavior or professional dress. Because if you've just been hanging out with your friends,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a different environment, or maybe you've been working at Amazon, or maybe you've been working at Starbucks or Target.
Virtual. Yeah. Could
I
be.
mean, that's
Yeah.
a different environment. That's
Right.
a different environment from a professional office.
That's right. And part of mastery is maturity, and so you have, and I have, and everybody who's watching or listening who's an owner, I would even say team members, everybody can be a leader.
That's right.
You have the opportunity to help someone mature professionally, and then it can dovetail into their personal life, because a lot of things I learn in business I use in my personal life, and then things I use in my personal life I use in business. So you can dovetail these things and they can work really well together. But if people are not coachable and you are having these conversations, then maybe that person is not the right fit for your team. Maybe they would be a better fit somewhere else.
Well, to be a success, no matter what you do in life, you have to have resilience. And you have to have grit. You have to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing to learn, is how to let someone help you or how to let someone coach you. And it's very important around the time of reviews, because when you do reviews of your team members, anything you say, it shouldn't be a surprise, because you've already talked to them about whatever you need to talk about. Hopefully the review is more about growth and looking forward. What are you going to accomplish next year?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than holding out. Like, let's say something's bothering you and you hold out like until the day of the review. Well, that's not the right strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You really should talk on a daily basis about what can be improved. You shouldn't wait until the day of the review.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's very powerful too. Again, I feel like a lot of this is beneficial for me, even because it's a daily thing. All of these issues, if you can learn how to work with, lead people, understand human behavior, decision making, it is very, very powerful, the effect that it will have on your people and your business, and you mentioned the podcast you listened to, which we were really breaking down those 7 laws by Brian Tracy. And he's actually in California. He's just the other end. He's SoCal. Curious if you've looked into any of his content or ever read some of his books.
Well, I remember reading about eat the frog.
Eat the frog. Eat that frog.
The frog.
Yeah.
I like that book a lot.
Yep.
And that's exactly what we're talking about right now, is that whatever you fear the most, you should immediately address that. Eat the frog. Don't let the frog sit in the boiling water, getting warmer. Like, that's exactly what we're talking about right now, is taking action on perhaps what bothers you the most. If you take action on what bothers you the most, you will never be stressed because you would have addressed what it is that's bothering you.
Mm-hmm.
People that are stressed in general, I think they're procrastinators. They know what it is they need to change, but they don't do anything about it. So they're stressed. But if you address what it is that's bothering you, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And then you feel great.
It's so simple, you know, it's crazy. And Brian Tracy, I got the chance to sit down with him for a day, and he's such a philosopher, but he has taken things that we complicate, and he's made it so simple. He has this this video and this mantra. It's just do it now, do it now, do it now.
That's right. Take action.
Yeah.
I like that. That's one of my favorite phrases.
Mm-hmm.
Take action.
Yeah.
You know, and when you have your team meeting, go around the room after everyone gives their report and then say, okay, what are you going to do this week? 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 You know, and just keep working on things.
Another thing that you mentioned that we could talk about was a positive mindset. And this is another, you know, I keep going back to Brian Tracy right now, but he talks about cutting down the negative emotion tree. And he goes all the way back to your childhood. And the first people that you need to forgive is your parents, because typically negative emotion comes from your most critical parent. You know, in at least psychology, you know, has found this to be true in most cases. And forgiveness can be a powerful thing. But also, I would say it's pretty counterculture because the news is negative. You know, content that goes viral a lot of times can be negative. We know politics kind of separates people versus bring them together. And so how do we get rid of negative emotion? And Google, I just asked Google this. It was on a recent episode. 80% of thoughts, all thoughts, are negative.
Oh, that's very sad. That's very sad. Well, I really love the affirmations of Tony Robbins.
Oh, what are they?
Well, affirmation number 1, and this goes back to my childhood. My father told me, every day you wake up, you have a choice. You can either choose to be happy or you can choose to be sad, but it's your choice. And that is the number 1 affirmation of Tony Robbins. The number 1 affirmation: today I choose to be happy. And I tell my team, when you walk through the door of the office, no matter what's going on in your personal life, you've got to leave it behind. You've got to focus on the positive, focus on the patient, be happy. I actually tell them, they're going to ask every patient, how are you today? And the patient is going to tell them whatever they want to say. Hopefully it's, I'm great, happy to be here. Hopefully they say that. And then the patient is going to turn to you and say, how are you today? Now, hopefully that answer is great, fantastic, awesome, happy to be here. But that response is not going to be, I'm tired, I got here late, I'm not feeling well. No, that is not the discussion in the office. Because when you walk in the door, it's like Disneyland. You've got to be positive. You've got to put yourself in a positive mindset. All my team members are positive. I think at the interview, you can tell if someone's a positive person or a negative person. You know, if you interview someone and they are, oh, I'm so excited to be here. I've always wanted to work in orthodontics. They're talking positively about themselves. They're taking pride in themselves versus someone who says, Oh, I really didn't like my last office. Why did you leave your last office? Oh, I didn't get along with some people, or I didn't agree with the doctor, or no, red flag, you're not going to hire that person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're telling you at the interview, I'm a negative person. So you've got to listen very carefully. And in our interview process, we do a short interview with the doctor and the office manager. Then if we like the person, we have them come for a working interview. Now, they might not be able to do anything. They might just shadow around.
But it
But
tells
we
you a lot,
we
I would
want
think.
everyone to meet that person, see that
Right.
person,
Right.
listen to what they talk about, see if they smile, see if they're excited to be there. And then once we think we're going to hire the person, we have them come back for working interview number 2,
Mm-hmm.
just to be sure. Okay. Once we're ready to hire the person, we give them the offer. And we offer what we think they're worth to our practice.
Mm.
And we don't negotiate. The offer is the offer, because you have other team members, and you've got to be fair to the other team members that have been there longer. You don't just hire the person and give them necessarily what they're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
You offer them how they fit into the structure of your office.
I love that.
So should we go to affirmation number 2?
Let's do it. I love Tony Robbins.
Affirmation number 2, I am grateful for everything I have.
Gratitude.
I am grateful for everything I have. And that's important for the team too. Never did I see the team more grateful than during COVID, because they still had jobs. And a lot of people lost their jobs in California during COVID.
Mm.
So just be grateful you have a job. Be grateful you work in a great industry. Be grateful you work in a great environment with great team members. And orthodontics is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of another job as much fun as orthodontics. So be grateful for that. Okay, affirmation number 3. I am capable of achieving great things.
Mm.
I always tell my team members, you could be an orthodontist if you wanted to be. If you really wanted to complete the requirements, apply to dental school. My office manager, I tell her if she had an MBA, she'd be running UCSF Medical Center.
Hmm.
And I sincerely believe that. She is really brilliant. And say to yourself, I'm capable of achieving great things, and then go and try to achieve them.
So it's a believing in yourself. Yeah.
Okay, number 4, I choose to focus on what I can control.
This is huge.
Let's say you walk into the office one day and the schedule isn't that full. Well, time to make some phone calls, right? You can control calling your pending list. You can control calling your missed exams list.
Mm-hmm.
You can control visiting more dental offices or inviting a dentist out to lunch. So whatever it is, focus on what you can control, not what you can't control.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, I embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. Okay. Whenever you face a challenge, when you analyze it, you have the opportunity not only to eliminate that challenge, but to actually be better than you were before the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you an example. I've been in practice 35 years. This year, I celebrate 35 years as an orthodontist. And a few months ago, I noticed we were having some bond failures. And I thought, this is really interesting. I don't understand why we're having bond failures. Now, a lot of orthodontists will just blame it on the patient. Okay. I never blame it on the patient. I take a look. Okay. Who bonded that bracket? What tooth was it? What's going on? So I started to look closely at my assistants, and I noticed that they were getting a little slack with the precision of orthodontic bonding, which is probably the most critical step in the orthodontic treatment. So what did we do? I hired someone to go over coronal polish with my entire team. I hired this person to come in for the day. I went over all the steps of bonding. I didn't point fingers. I didn't say it's you. I went over it with the whole team again, because things, it's that boiling frog syndrome that if you don't keep maintaining that excellence, people are going to start taking shortcuts.
Status quo. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went over, the retractor, using the right pumice that does not have a flavor or color in it. Okay. Doing the etch for exactly the right amount of time. Removing the etch, air drying. Okay. Placing the resin thinly, air drying it, placing the bracket, buttering the composite in the back of the bracket, placing it, removing the flash. We even had our lights checked, and one light was a little bit weak, so we got rid of that light. But we went through all 12 steps of the process, and I'm happy to say we do not have any bond failures now. But, if someone is having bond failures, focus on what you can control, go over the procedure again and fix it, but just don't blame it on the patient. Okay. Number 5, I embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. My dad always used to say that luck is the intersection of opportunity and preparedness. That if you are prepared to take that opportunity, that if you have a challenge, but you see it as an opportunity, you just might get really, really lucky. Okay, number 6, I am committed to continual improvement. Now, we already talked about that.
Yep.
And then number 7, I choose to make a positive impact today.
That's a big one.
I choose to make a positive impact. Number 1 and number 7, I choose to be happy. I choose to make a positive impact today.
Are these things that you go over frequently?
Yes. Yeah, I've gone over this with my team twice already. And in fact, I'm going to put these 7 things in my next book because I think they're important.
I do too. I might make them part of my morning formula and just go through them in the morning because they're so good and you can always improve on all of these, you know? And if you're keeping these top of mind, it really does kind of make you happy. Even going through them, it's just the mood gets lifted. It's an energy. And when you can operate, Tony talks about this a lot. The first thing he makes you change at an event, I'm not sure if you've ever been to one, is your physiology. So he gets people up and moving, and then it changes their thought process, and then it's change your strategy, change your thinking, and if you can change your thinking, you can change your life.
I like number 4. I choose to focus on what I can control.
Right.
When orthodontists say that they're stressed, basically what they're saying is, I'm not in control.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, whatever is stressing you, once you take control of that, then you're not stressed anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You come up with a solution. You come up with a strategy, and you come up with a solution. And then the stress is gone. Now, if it's a team member, okay, if you've done everything you can with a team member, and I always had this discussion with a woman that she used to be my HR consultant in California, and she has since moved to Texas. But I would always have this conversation with her and say, if I'm lying in bed at night thinking of one of my employees who's really stressing me out, they need to go.
Mm.
You know, not everyone is coachable. And I recently let someone go that I had hired. I interviewed her. I thought she was good. First day of work, calls in sick. Very first day of work. Okay, next day she comes in. I have a talk with her. I say, what made you sick? She said, well, I had a little cold. I said, okay, well, take vitamin C, take a vitamin. Next time you have a little cold, take some Dayquil, come into work. Because I've been in practice 35 years. In 35 years, I've literally missed 2 days of work.
Wow.
So what makes a 20-year-old person sick?
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, it's either partying too much, not getting enough sleep, not taking care of yourself, not getting proper nutrition. But you need to ask yourself, why are you sick?
Mm-hmm.
Is it psychological illness that you just can't get out of bed in the morning? So that was the day 2. And then day 3, she called in again, sick. Okay. Well, that's not going to fly with me. Day 4, she came in an hour late.
Wow.
That's it. She's fired. So I call her into my office. I say, what time is it? She says, 8:30. I said, no, actually it's 8:59 and we start at 8. You are 1 hour late. So I can tell already this is not going to work out for you here. So this is your final paycheck. Thank you very much. We wish you a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
Let me walk you to the door.
Mm.
You know, this is another thing I hear from orthodontists. I'm in a lot of chat rooms,
Mm-hmm.
and I hear orthodontists say, when is she going to get good? When is she going to get better? When is she going to learn? Some people are never going to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to recognize that some people are dysfunctional.
Right.
I wrote in my HR book, dysfunctional behaviors. Not showing up for work is a dysfunctional behavior. Being sick all the time, that might be a psychological illness. Or it could be, like I said, partying. Like one of my friends who was an oral surgeon always told me she was very leery of people that were sick on Mondays
Mm-hmm.
because she was always afraid they were either a drug abuser or an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to nip that in the bud. You know, you don't have time to worry if someone's going to show up for the job you offered them. You need to just move on to the next person.
Yeah, I really like the focus on what you can control as well. And it is the locus of control. So when you ask someone, you know, why didn't this happen? Or maybe why did we miss the mark here? Or how can we do better? Or whatever the question is, if it's always something else, someone else,
Excuses?
Yeah, external factors, that's typically the blame game versus look internally and say, well, next time I could do this and that would change the outcome, or that would make it more successful, or whatever it is. Always look internal, because that you can control. You can't always control these external things. And those do tend to become excuses. Now, sometimes there may be a valid external point, but it's kind of like an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, it's just internal.
Or maybe the person just plain forgot.
Yes, that
right?
could be it too.
Well, be honest.
Be
I
honest.
forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot. Okay, you forgot. Could you do it right now? Because it's really important to
Right.
me.
I made a mistake.
Yeah. Now, I like the phrase of Ronald Reagan, trust but verify.
Yeah, trust but verify.
And I also like the phrase of Bruce Tolkien, who wrote the foreword to my HR book. He always said, owning a business is like leaving your child with the babysitter. You leave your child with the babysitter, but you always check in.
Yep, that's right.
And you need to always check in that things are done. And it's not that you don't trust the person. You do trust the person, but you need to verify that things were done. And that's an important thing, because you may hire a yes man who tells you they're doing something when they actually don't do it. So, for example, every month we print our pending list. And we actually have 2 pending lists. We have one that's for patients who speak English and one for patients that speak Spanish. And I don't speak Spanish. So my treatment coordinator calls the patients who speak Spanish. I call the patients who speak English. Okay. And since I've been doing this for about the past 7 years, it's really gone very, very well. But I want that treatment coordinator to show me the list. When she's done, I want to see the list with all the check marks, and I want to see who she actually signed up. I like to see some verification.
I do the same thing. I like to, because then there's coaching opportunities as well as, praising opportunities.
That's right. And that's why we have reports.
That's right.
So we can review the reports.
That's right.
And when I get a report and it's super duper good, like I get my missed exams down to 0, I actually write the date, have the person autograph it. I put a gold seal on it. I frame it and I put it on the wall. I put it on the wall of fame and celebrate it.
Yeah. There's another quote: people respect what you inspect. People respect what you inspect. So if people know if they can cut corners, or this isn't going to be looked at, or maybe this isn't a big deal, if you inspect it and, hey, send me the report, they're going to respect the process.
Well, not only that, studies have shown that just the simple act of asking, how is it going, will increase your results by 25%.
Yep. So why not? Yeah. I love that. Well, this has been great. We're already at an hour. So I'd love to do another one sooner than this is your second podcast with us, but it's been a couple years. So maybe we can set something up sooner than later. But thank you so much for coming on. And if people want to learn more, maybe about your books, your practice, how could they reach out and get in touch with you?
The viewers can always contact me on Facebook or Facebook Messenger.
Yep.
I think that's how I met you.
It is.
My email address is amgortho@aol.com. Or they can call me at the office, Gorczyca Orthodontics, in Antioch, California. And today we've spoken more about motivation, inspiration, affirmation. But if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of systems, I have 5 books on Amazon. The first one is It All Starts with Marketing. The second one is Beyond the Morning Huddle, HR Management. The third one is At Your Service, Customer Service. The fourth one is Take Action, Treatment Coordination. The fifth one is One Team, One Score, Leadership and Teamwork. My final book, I will not disclose the title, but I will tell you it's going to be on management systems.
Mm.
And in that book, we're going to discuss 60 management systems. And I'm hoping that it will be out in 2026. And as soon as I get through the second edits, I'll be sending you a hard copy so you can take a look at it and tell me what you think. But thank you for the great work you're doing. It's an honor for me to speak with you.
Yeah, likewise.
And keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thanks so much for coming on the Grow Ortho podcast.
Thank you. My pleasure. See you next time.